Why, hello, everybody. Welcome to week 2 here in criminal investigations. I'm filming this on Thursday in between crime scene processing. So one of the things that is going to be due this week is your crime scene report. I've only got 2 students who were going to be able to make it to campus. I had one who was coming this morning and had car difficulties. That happens, I understand that. And did have one student who got very personal attention in processing the crime scene. And I've got one scheduled for tonight at 7, so we'll also get very personal assistance since they'll be processing it by themselves, which is what most of y'all will be doing, well, everybody else will be doing with their own crime scene. I did have one student who I have not heard from. I need to hear from you so I can give you the information on processing your own crime scene, because unless you show up tonight at 7, you're going to miss the processing on campus. And the big difference between me being able to do it at home and doing it on campus is on campus you get to fingerprint something, you get to get your hands dirty and use some fingerprint powder. The student who was there this afternoon developed a pretty good fingerprint, so that worked out real well. Okay, let me go ahead and get out of the way and we'll talk about what else we've got going on this week. So this week we're going to be looking at chapters 4 and 5. Chapters 4 before the exam. We've got 2 other chapters after the first exam. Chapter 4 is on searches, and chapter 5 is on forensic physical evidence. You want to watch those before you actually process your crime scene, because they're going to help you do that. Kind of a big part of it. You'll need to do work on your exam review as you're watching the videos in these chapters, as you're reading the material in the book. And you'll also remember that you'll have to make at least 70 on the quizzes on them before you can move to the next chapter, or after the 5th one before you can move to the the exam 1. In addition, you'll need to submit your original post for discussion number 1, and you probably want to submit your follow-up post to discussion number 1 before you take the exam 2, because that will help you immensely with the exam. I want you to keep in mind submitting a blank post or submitting a post that just has 1 or 2 answers answered is not the assignment. You cannot take the exam until you've submitted an original post, a real post, not a pseudo post that's just there so that you can take the exam. If you submit something that is not suitable, does not have the exam review completed, then you're cheating, and you can't cheat in this class and pass. So don't do it. I had a student who ended up failing out of the class because he kept submitting the blank post, and that's why I had to change the rules to say that cheating will force you to fail the course. Don't do it. Submit an appropriately completed exam review before you take the exam. And on the exam will be 50 questions. The questions need to be are going to be all multiple choice. There is a fill in the blank one for the bonus question, but everything else is multiple choice. Some of the questions are going to come directly from the exam review. Exam review, coming from the quizzes that you've taken. So retake your quizzes a couple times. Your highest score is always going to be what goes in the grade book. So even if you made 100 on it, retake it, and you'll see the questions again. You'll know the answers, and then you'll get those right on the exam. When you're taking the exam, you can use your textbook and you can use your notes. Now, as part of the discussion, you will be looking at other students' answers for the discussion, and you are allowed to incorporate their answers into yours. Not just allowed, you're encouraged. That's the reason for this type of discussion, is so that you're looking at what they thought the answer, or what area of the book that topic might talk about. And if theirs is different than yours, add theirs to yours. And then it's in your personal notes. Before you take the exam, you will need to, I'm sorry, I lost my chain of thought. Before you take the exam, go ahead and open up your textbook. If you've got a digital version of the book, open up your exam review so that you're not using any of that 50 minutes you have to complete the exam looking for your textbook, looking for your notes. Then start your exam. Keep in mind that if you go to any other websites, that is cheating and you will fail the class. I had one student who was using Quizlets during the exam. They failed the course. You can't do that. You can't do Google searches. You can't go to any other sites. And Quizlets was, they had got a lot of the answers out of Quizlets. They still failed the test, which was kind of bad when you're cheating and you don't pass. But they still failed the course too, because of the cheating, not because of the score on the exam. So when you take the exam, you want to answer every question before you spend any time looking anything up. You do not want to run out of time. So what you do, take your notepad, and as you're going through exam, if you've got a question on question number 10, jot down 10 on there and then keep going. Guess. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right if you guess. You get question 20, you don't know that one for sure, write 20 down, again guess, and then move on. And maybe you have a problem with 30 and maybe 40, something about those multiples of 10 that are killing you. When you've completed the exam, then go back, navigate back to question 10, look up your answers and try to find it. Then look at number 20 and look at number 30. Do it that way. That way you've answered everything and you've got a little bit of a chance and you're not getting knocked out. It is normal for me to have 1 or 2 students per long semester, not necessarily the summer semester, who doesn't complete the exam or goes into hurry up mode to complete the exam because they spent too much time with early questions. So once you complete exam 1, then we've got 2 other things that you'll need to do. One is going to be reading chapter 6 in your book on obtaining information, and the other is reading chapter 7 in the book on identifying and arresting suspects. So both of those will be due. And then again, your crime scene report and all of that will be due. Let me see what exact date. I think that's going to be due this at the end of this week also. Hang on just a second. Go back to the section. And actually, your crime scene report is going to be due at the end of week 3. So you've got time there. So and we were. Second, let me look at this a little bit. Yes, you've got time to complete that another week to get the diagram, the report, and all of that done. That's about all I have for you in this weekly update. Please study for your exam before you take it. If you don't study, even though it's open book, you're not going to pass it. So spend some time looking over your notes and being prepared. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. If not, I will talk to you again next week.